Every second weekend in March, Independence, Louisiana celebrates its Sicilian Heritage Festival. Held along the railroad tracks in the heart of downtown Independence, the weekend celebration offers street dancing, live entertainment, a parade, arts and craft booths, a spaghetti cook-off, a meatball toss competition, rides, games, Italian music, fantastic food, a cultural museum, and so much more. However, the Sicilian Heritage Festival is a lot more than just an exciting 3-day weekend. It's an appreciation of a beautiful and rich history.
As everyone knows, Independence has always been known as Little Italy. We've always celebrated our Italian Sicilian heritage in Independence, way back in the 70s with the Little Italy Festival. And 11 years ago, we revamped the organization and came up with a new name, the Independence Sicilian Heritage Festival, and we've gone strong since then. We were voted Best New Festival in 2012 by the Louisiana Association of Fairs and Festivals, which was an honor for us. But the festival itself, the food, the Sicilian cuisine there is unbelievable. That is what our town is known for.
Going to the festival from when it started, I was always excited. My favorite part was eating lasagna, eating spaghetti, and dancing with my dad to all the bands. We love to dance, and coming and able to look around and it's a family. The Sicilian Heritage Festival is truly a family.
When you are Sicilian, you look back at how your family was when I was a kid. My grandmother was alive, my aunts and uncles, everybody got together. It was family time. Family's so close. Now you kind of drift apart a little bit, so we're trying to maintain our history.
The food is the biggest thing, and it really, it's a lot of family too, because families come from all over to come back and visit, so it's a good thing.
Well, the festival, it hinges off, of course, the Italian heritage. Everyone, all Sicilians are Italian, but not all Italians are Sicilian. Just so I say that, everyone here, most of the people here of Italian descent are Sicilian. So the festival plays off of that. That's how our roots came. That's how they came to this area.
And we want to keep that heritage going. Young children nowadays don't know exactly what everyone had to go through to make Independence what it is. My grandfather came there off the boat from Sicily when he was 6 months old, and he settled there in Independence, and he bought a couple of acres of land and grew his vegetables and his strawberries, and that's where he made his living. And if it wouldn't have been for him moving here to the United States, my family wouldn't even exist. So we need to let the younger generations know how important it is to celebrate their history and celebrate who actually got them where they are today.
My daddy, I remember telling us that they had a drought over there in Sicily. They were starving to death because they didn't have no money, and the crops had been burned up with the sunshine. And so my daddy went to his 4 brothers and told them, he said, what we got to do is, I'm going to make the arrangement. We're going to go to America where they don't starve to death over there. They said, well, go see what you got to do. So he went through the process, talking to the officials, how they do to get to this country.
Initial Italian immigrants began arriving in South Louisiana, and particularly the New Orleans area, and even down into St. Bernard Parish, right after Reconstruction, and in the Reconstruction era, that's in the 1870s and into the 1880s, and they tried to use them as laborers around the plantations there. There was a lot of trouble with contracts with newly freed slaves, so there was this void in labor on the plantations. And so initial Italian immigrants, and many of them from Sicily, were being used in those lower South Louisiana parishes on plantations, and they exhibited a unique quality which people noticed. They did their work on the plantation, but beside their cabins and everything, they began growing their own food plots and specific things. So what they were doing, they were already aspiring to break away from the traditional lock grip the plantation had on other laborers and trying to earn money to build themselves up, to get out of that type of labor and do better for themselves and their families. Many of them began trickling into New Orleans, and it wasn't long after that strawberries arose up here in Tangipahoa Parish.
Many immigrants began as pickers, working for an average of just $1.50 per day. And within a few years, they saved enough from their wages to purchase their own 20-acre farms. The lots were purchased for approximately $40 an acre. By 1905, Independence had become Louisiana's primary shipping center for strawberries. By 1910, Italians and their children represented the majority of the town's population.
I remember a lot about strawberries because I picked them suckers. Well, the way to do strawberries back in my day, we used to pick them. If you try to pick 10, 15 acres, it took you all day to pick them. And we used to pack them. We used to bring them to the boxcars.
The industry here in the Independence area was mostly farming of strawberries. So they decided to come over here and make their homes here. In the late 1930s and 40s, there were hundreds and hundreds of railroad cars lined up here on the tracks, and the farmers would bring their berries there either by trucks, cars, or wagons. And thousands of strawberries were shipped from this area to the northern area, like Chicago and Memphis and other areas.
It was the strawberry capital of the world right here, Independence was. And it was all Italian people. And how we lived from one season to the other. We called it a 13-month crop because you started raising new plants before the season was over that you were picking. And it was just a hard job. Raking straw, hauling straw, and working the berries. It was just a full-time job.
And strawberries were such an explosion. It wasn't just that the strawberries themselves were a big boost to the economy. It's that as the industry took off, and you're talking, it went from filling up one train car load to 10, in matter of 2 to 3 years, and then multiple trains having to go. It led to ancillary industries like box and crate plants and refrigeration plants and things like that. So there was all this work for these people. And as 2 or 3 Italian families located, and they wrote down and said, look, there's great opportunity up here, and there's potential land for sale, more and more Italians began moving to the area. And they came all throughout Tangipahoa Parish because the length of the railroad was conducive to opportunities for work. And in some places, they were received very well, like at Independence, Tickfall, and Amite. Other places, they ran into some real ethnic hostility and where they were seen as economic competition. An entirely different environment was found in Independence, where they were welcomed and they began to change the character of the entire community. And not just in the sense that they became the largest rural Italian community in the United States located there, overwhelmingly Sicilian, of course, but in every sense they began to change it. And just shaping the culture and economic identity of the region into something that fit what they had experienced in the old world.
They did not speak English, with no money. They had nothing but the clothes on their back virtually, and they built a life here, and they worked hard for it, and nobody gave them anything.
So finally they got together, and Mr. Frank Anzalone, I think, was one of the main leaders for the Little Italy Festival. He got it going, and I think he helped organize all of it and get it going. And it's been a big thing since, and I think it should keep going.
They wanted to prove to the rest of the community, to the rest of the state, that the Italians are worth something, that they are people, are working people that wants to do the right thing and make a living here because this is a beautiful place to live.
We need to preserve this. We need to preserve our history. We need to preserve what our families came here to do and what they set out to do, and the pride that's there with being an Italian.
We invite you, each and every one of you, to come on out and see what it means to be Sicilian American. Come and be a part of the Independence Sicilian Heritage Festival.